You ready?
Thank you. I don't know if any of that's true. My name's Sean, and I'm an alcoholic, for sure an alcoholic. Maybe definitely awesome. I don't know about capable. Some things definitely capable of some things. Um, I'm going to do my best to share my experience, strength, and hope. My opinion will probably get in there. Just I want to make it clear that my opinion is the opinion of myself and probably my sponsor, and is not like an indication of like the opinion of AA as a whole. Just me. Um, uh, yeah, so I am an alcoholic, and what that means to me, and what I was taught that that means, is that I cannot. Once I start drinking, I can't control when I stop drinking, and that's been made abundantly clear to me throughout my experience drinking. Um, Whenever I don't stop of my own volition, like I did in the beginning. In the beginning, even the beginning, I don't think I ever did. I think I just drank until I blacked out and then woke up somewhere. Even like the first time that I drank. Um, Well, the first time that I drank, I say that the first time that I drank, I stole a half gallon of Stolicio with my friend Eamon, which is actually on a recording on YouTube of me speaking last time. Um, but I think actually the first time I drank, my friend stole some communion wine and I drank that. I don't know if there's any alcohol in that though. I think there might be a little. And I might have like pretended to be drunk or I actually was drunk. I don't really remember. I was like 14, 12 or something. I was kind of a late bloomer. I know there's a lot of people, that start like super early. I started the first time like I got shit housed. I was 16. But anyway, every time that I can remember drinking, I stop being able to remember myself drinking because I blacked out, or I get arrested, or I get knocked out, or I like fall asleep in a ditch. Those are the ways that I stop drinking. So once I start, I can't stop. And then once I stop, I start again without warning, without my decision. Like I can wake up in the morning and tell myself I'm not going to drink today every fucking day and drink every day. Like I have no control over when I start drinking. It just happens. Like I just wake up the next day having made a decision the day before that I wouldn't drink, and then I black out at some point, and there I am again. And then the third thing, this is all from the doctor's opinion, by the way, and throughout the first I guess like 50 pages in the book, talks about the first step. The third thing is spiritual malady, and that what I think that is, I feel like an alien without drugs or alcohol, especially alcohol. And I really like. I'm gonna talk about alcohol. I have some drugs. I've done some drugs. I've done a lot of drugs. I was an intravenous heroin and meth user, but alcohol is definitely my go-to. Like the other stuff is just bonus. Like I could totally do without that stuff. If someone gives it to me, I'll do it. But like I can't not drink of my own volition. I can't make a choice to not drink. I still believe that there's just like this emptiness in the choice department that has been removed by whatever my higher power is. I just don't think about it. It could come back if I stop doing the steps for sure, though. Anyway, so once I start, so I that the spiritual malady is like I don't feel like I can connect to you unless, and that went away the first time that I drank. Is I felt like I could connect to other people. I didn't feel like just like because I was always really social. People called me like a social butterfly. I get along with people, but I didn't feel like I belonged with people. And I was always desperately trying to get people to feel a part of by like being funny or personable, but I didn't feel like I deserved it. And I felt just like an alien until I drank. And when I first started drinking, I loved drinking. If I could if I could have all that stuff again, I would. But it stopped working for me. And that's something that they talk about in the meetings in the rooms a lot. That I really wish that they would explain. So I make a point to explain it when I share from the podium or the virtual podium. And what it means when I say that it stopped working. If I drank a bottle of whiskey, I would still get fucked up. I would still get drunk, but I wouldn't be able to continue to live with myself. Like I would still be like uncomfortable and like afraid, and I wouldn't feel connected to people just because I was drunk. That thing that I sought from alcohol, that stopped happening. And it was just the bad stuff. Um, I would get relief from oblivion, but not from being drunk. Um, so anyway, uh, I grew up in Juneau, Alaska. My parents own an organic health food store. My family, I guess I've come to realize recently from talking to people, were kind of neglectful. They would like leave town without telling us. And then we would find out that they were gone from like talking to the people that worked at our store. And then, so I was kind of just like running wild. There was no consequences for anything that I did. I kind of just like, I never got grounded. I didn't really have to do chores. I just like was off in the woods all the time, hanging out with my friends. And then the first thing that I found that alleviated like the self or whatever thing was I started like burning stuff. I would siphon gas from the cars around my neighborhood when I was like 12 years old and light the street on fire. And that was fun. That allowed me to stop feeling so uncomfortable all the time. Anyway, so I guess the go-to is like what it was like in the end, you know, because I can't really go through in the beginning. I love drinking in the beginning, so I can relate to any newcomer or any person that has earned their place here, which is anyone who says that they belong here. Like I like to drink. I remember there's this one time I was hanging out at the bar, and I was hanging out with my friend Makana, who worked at the bar, of course, and she was bartender, and she drank like me. There weren't that many people left at this point in my drinking. This is like when I'm like 21 or 22 or something, that could hang anymore, you know, because we just went hard every day. There's these Navy dudes that came into the bar, and they were like, they challenged us to a drinking contest, and I was like so happy. I was like, finally, I get to do something that I'm good at, you know, like I can't hold a job. No, like I have like on and off again friends. Like I have a couple, like finally, I was so excited that like, I think that they didn't show up because like, we were so happy that they thought that they could. They're like, this is my second is this old crusty Navy dude. And I'm like, I don't care, man. I drink like a handle a day and I'm going to show you. So that like that's what it was like. It's just crazy. I have a little bit of a crazy story. I have lots of rabbit holes that I could go down into about like being a 3-card Monty hustler all over the country with a bunch of older black gentlemen that I did for a while. I could tell you about like being homeless in Portland. I could tell you about all the bands that I played with all over, you know, fucking everywhere. Or like all the stuff that hitchhiking across the country, stuff like that. But like really, like in the end, I was just afraid like the whole time. And most of those stories are only fun in retrospect. And really, I would just do that stuff so that when I went back to Alaska, I would tell my friends and they wouldn't believe me, and I would be like happy about that. So I guess the thing that I always tell, so I'm just gonna do it because I can't think of anything else to say, is I don't believe in a bottom. So people, I think that you can always continue to dig. I think that there have been times in my drinking career. I like that drinking career expression. Definitely made it a career. Nothing else was my career for sure. Like there are times when like God or whatever it is like reached its hand down into the gutter and I slapped it away. Like there are times when I could have stopped. Like it could have been bad enough for whatever, but I don't know what gives you the first step or gave me the first step. The first step is like, it's not, I don't believe that like people make a decision to take the first step. I believe that like it's given to you. And if you don't have it yet, you know, you're probably going to experience a lot more pain. Hopefully it's given to you, or some people are able to stop without it. And those are probably the people that don't understand the first step that talk about like having a choice. I'm not one of those people. I believe that I'm powerless over alcohol and I will never regain power over alcohol. And it's dangerous for me to talk about having power over alcohol because every time I think I have power, I go out and I get drunk again. And I'd rather not lose all my time and the stuff I've gotten. So anyway, into the story. So I'm going to tell you about like a bottom that I had. So I'm 23 and I don't really have any friends left. I hate myself. I hate myself so much. like, and I'm sitting in front of my computer in my parents' house where I live still because, of course, I can't live anywhere else. That in between the times they've kicked me out and I've like gone to whatever person's house or like the street, and I'm sitting there on the computer and no one's home and I have not been able to get anything today. So I'm like bone fucking dry. So like, I'm not sober, just dry and very uncomfortable and I hate myself. And I'm in between going out, like this girl has like dumped me for like, the 60th time. Like I keep taking her back. She keeps fucking my friends. And it's bad. It's real bad. So I'm sitting there and I look on my computer and I Google the most painful way to die and try to figure out what the most painful way to die is. And then also I like punch out the window. I remember that day. That's something that I did. I punched out the window in my parents' house and I was like really excited about it because I'd never been able to I'd always pull my punches because I was just afraid all the time of everything. And it's really weird because like everybody else thought that I was like super badass because like I would do like the people were like, we should steal a car, ha ha ha. Like you can't say that stuff around drunk Shano because he'll go do it to show you like how fucking cool he is, so that like people will be afraid of me and leave me alone. Like that, I got my knees tattooed because there's like I was in this trap house with all these like punk rock kids. And like this guy who'd gotten his license taken away wanted to tattoo knees for his new portfolio, and no one else wanted to do it. So I was like, okay, I'm down, just to like show people how fucking badass I am, out of fear, all out of fear. Every decision I made was out of fear to keep people away from me, because you could hurt me. Anyway, so I hate myself, and I'm sitting, and my hands all fucked up, and I Google what the most painful way to die is, and I find out that wormwood or kidney failure is one of the most painful ways that you can die. And I look up ways to induce kidney failure. And I find that ingesting wormwood is a way that you can induce kidney failure. So my house, my parents own a health food store, which is like 2 blocks away from our house. And we don't have food at our house. We just go to the store for food. Because why would you keep food in your house when you have a grocery store? So we have like weird stuff in the cabinets. The house is like 150 years old and like has been there since Juneau, Alaska got founded. We were like the 3rd generation of people in it. Like not my family, but like other people have owned the house. There's like weird stuff just hidden in the basement and in the cabinets, we used to call the basement the magic basement when I was a kid. Like you'd say, like, there's this one time we were looking for red iron oxide so we could make thermite, and we were going to scrape it off the cars and put it into like a tin and like purify the rust. And then we went to look for a tin to put it in, and we found a can of red iron oxide in the basement, so we didn't have to do that. We just made thermite. Shit like that would happen all the time in my house. So anyway, this is one of those moments where I'm like, oh man, I think maybe there's some wormwood in the cabinet. So I look in the cabinet and there's some wormwood. And then so I'm like, okay, well, I go upstairs and I just sit and think about my life and how much I hate it. And this, I'll give you a rundown of like what my life is like on a daily basis at this point too. So I wake up every day with what I like to call a shame over. So I'm hungover and I'm in shame because I know that something last night that I did was horrible, but I don't remember what it is. I don't know. I don't have any alcohol because I definitely drink it all. I wake up at about 5:30 in the morning and I'm shaking. My kidney and my liver are like distended in my belly and I can see them through my skin. I have the shakes. And I wake up and I have to wait an hour until the liquor store opens. I know that I'm going. Like there's not any fight in me left at this point. So like I get up and I start walking to the liquor store. Every car that passes, I'm looking in the window because I think that those people like want to kill me for like something that I've been doing, or I'm probably just delusional, who knows? But I'm like terrified. I get to the liquor store, like I have stolen enough change from my parents to like buy like 2 Four Locos, which are like $2.50 a piece, so like $5. Like I drink one of the Four Locos, I black out, I wake up the next day, I do it again. It's my life. That I'm living in the point, so I hate myself. That's why, and also who knows why? A lot of stuff that I'm not getting into. lots of trails I go down. So I find out that the wormwood, it will kill me and it will be very painful. And I think that I deserve it. So I go upstairs and I look in the mirror in my room and I smoke a cigarette. I light a cigarette and I look at the cigarette and I put it out on my hand. And then I pick it up and I light it again and I put it out on my hand. And I do this 13 times. And then I light another cigarette and I light it and I burn my face the same way 4 times. Okay. And then I go down in the mirror, like directly on the other side. My parents are like sleeping in the other room. And I look in the mirror and I just like stare at like the burns on my face and like the blood on my hand, the blood and burns on my hand. And I just like sit and I'm like, I'm going to kill myself tomorrow. Like I said that out loud. And then it just like the Royal Tenenbaums, I love that movie. It's like one of my favorite movies because Luke Wilson does the same thing. He makes the decision to kill himself. And once he makes the decision, he just does it. Same thing, exact same thing. I decide that I'm going to kill myself tomorrow. And like the reason that I burned myself is I wanted people to see how ugly I felt, you know? Yeah, I was crazy. So I drank the wormwood. I took a bottle and a half of Tylenol and drank it with the wormwood, which was kind of nice because it has alcohol and it's extract, you know. And then I went down to the park down by my house, Coe Park, and I sat against a tree next to like my favorite. And this is like the place that I like grew up in, like running around in the forest and stuff when my life was like good or something. And I sat and I waited to die. And then the pain started like racking, you know, in my stomach and my chest, and I decided maybe I didn't want to be in that much pain. So I crawled home through the rain, and I like crawled into my parents' bedroom, and I like shook my dad awake. And I used to have a lot of shame about like what he must have seen, you know. But I've made amends to him since, and we're cool now. But like it used to be like, and you can have that too if you go through all the steps. If you go through your men's project, you can not regret. I don't regret the past. All of this that I'm telling you right now, this is a commercial for what AA can do for you. I don't regret any of this. This is just something that I can use to help you or any other person, any person that I sponsor. You know, if they're like, I've been fucking miserable, you don't understand, I can be like, yes, I do understand. So I'm on the ground and I shake my dad awake and I'm like, hey, you need to take me to the hospital. So they take me to the hospital and they test my blood and they ask me a bunch of questions. And they say, and I tell them the truth because I don't want to die. And they say, you got here too late. We're going to give you the antidote. But the amount that you took and like what your toxicity level is, like you're probably going to die. So you should make your peace with God. And I say to this nice doctor who's trying to save my life in front of my parents, fuck God. Because I didn't believe in God until I was like 2 years sober. And I know it says in the book that like everybody, I did not believe in God. I thought that anyone that believes in God is stupid. And I was jealous of them. Because they seemed happy, and I thought that I was too smart to believe in that because it was stupid to believe in, but I was jealous of them anyway. You know, obviously I didn't die because I'm talking to you right now. I woke up in the morning. I sat through the night, you know, just like thinking about like my ex-girlfriend and like being sad about that and being sad about that and all that stuff. And like a nurse came in the morning and she was like, her eyes were like glistening and she'd seen a miracle and she's like, you are so lucky to be alive. You should thank God. And I said to this nurse, fuck God. You know, and then I drank for 3 more years. So the reason that I'm telling you that story is like, that's probably the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And so if the like bottoms were real, that would be my bottom, but I kept digging. You know, I kept digging for a long time, you know, because it exponentially gets worse. So it got worse. It got worse. But I did stop. I was able to stop. And the last time that I drank wasn't that bad. Like I went to a party with some people and like, I think kind of what drove the first step home for me, like I'd been going to the rooms for a little while. I didn't know about the room at the point of the story that I told you about. Like I didn't know about AA because there wasn't really much AA where I was from. So you guys, if you live in a place where there's AA, you're very lucky, because not everybody knows about it. So like I had been going to meetings for a little while. Like I got sent to treatment. I wanted to go because some other story I can tell you that's fucking horrific that like woke me up enough to go. And like but then so I lived in the town, and I went to this party, and I was telling in my head, I was just like, I'm not gonna drink, I'm not gonna drink, I'm not gonna drink, I'm not gonna drink. And I think it's just like in the book where it's like you go down to the nearest bar room and try some controlled drinking, try to stop, try to take a couple and try to stop, see if you can. Like you'll quickly get an idea of your condition. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what it says. And so like I was just telling myself I'm not, or like you have no defense against the first drink. And like basically I'd been working the steps, but I didn't have a higher power. I didn't believe in God. And I didn't really trust my sponsor. If you don't trust your sponsor, get a new fucking sponsor. Your sponsor will not care if you fire them, if you're not clicking well with them. If they do, then they're a bad sponsor anyway. Because we just want to fucking help you. Like really, we just want to get you out of there and into here. Because we know how bad it is, or how bad it can be, and how bad it gets for sure. So I got to the party, and the whole time I'm telling myself I'm not going to drink, and then like they were playing beer pong, and then I'm like, I got next game, like just completely. I had like 10 months sober, just completely out of just in a situation with alcohol, drank the alcohol because that's the kind of person that I am. I'm an alcoholic. And then the whole night I was like talking to myself in the mirror, like, you don't have to tell anyone, you don't have to reset your time. And then I woke up the next day, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. My first step, like my first spiritual awakening, like that I should be dead. That it doesn't make any sense that I'm not dead. And I don't really know how to explain that to you. I wish that I could explain it to the people that don't get it. But like that I'm fucked. I'm absolutely fucked, and nothing short of a miracle can save my life. And then I got a new sponsor, worked the steps, and I've been sober since that day. That was October 27, 2012. So my sobriety date is October 26th. 2012, the last time that I took a drink. So I've been sober for like 8 years since then, and like my life is radically different. Again, I do not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. All the 9-step promises have definitely come true. Not the financial one so much at the moment, but there's probably some amends in there that I'm missing. I found that all the promises, there's promises for every step. So if you go through the book with a sponsor, which is what you should do if you haven't yet, the big book is made up of 3 things. There's examples, instructions, and promises. The examples are like the stories, and like the stories of like Fred and the milk guy, and like maybe that's the same person, I don't remember, the jaywalker, all the stuff in the back. And that's just like to kind of pique your interest. If you're like this person, maybe you could also get this thing, And then the instructions, that's like the actual prompts, like of the workbook, because it's a workbook. This is what you do. And then the promises are always directly preceding the prompts. And there's like, this is what you will get if you do this. And I have found that all of the promises are true. And there's promises for every step. And so it's a good thing for me to know the promises, because if I'm feeling like a certain way, if I'm feeling like deficiency in some like spiritual part of my life, it's probably because I'm not getting the promise of that step, because I haven't done the step correctly recently. And it's not really that difficult. It's really just like after you've gone through the whole thing the first time, it's just like I wake up and I pray and I remind myself that I'm fucked and that I need help. And then I ask to please not let me screw it up. Don't let me get in the way. And then I ask to be able to help someone. And then hopefully I do inventory on things that I do, and make amends when necessary. And then I try to help other people. And that is the entire program. That's the whole thing. Ask like, hey, please don't let me be an asshole. And then when I'm an asshole, like, please help me to stop doing that. and then I talk to someone about it, and then I like hopefully apologize or not apologize. Don't apologize. Tell them what you're going to do better, and then do that. Anyway, I'm sure that I've gone over. I'm not good at brevity. I end up talking about like what it was like a lot, and probably not too much of what it's like now, but really just like it's better. And so I'm just going to read you something that someone read to me when I first got in that I think is important. This is what made me want to do the process, and it's the 10-step promises. Fuck the 9-step promises. The 9-step promises are like so crazy and out there, and just like I don't know why they read them at every meeting. They just sound so unbelievable. Like I guess it's like a great, like this is the future with flying cars. Like I don't. It's hard for me to like when I came in, I was like, no way. But the 10-step promises, like when I came, that's what I wanted when I came in. That's the reason. The reason that I came in is because I wanted to not fucking drink myself to death. So this is on the bottom of page 84. This is the 10-step promises. This is what you get if you've done all the other steps before it and you do the 10th step on a daily basis. And we have ceased fighting anything or anyone, even alcohol. For by this time sanity will have returned. We will seldom be interested in liquor. If tempted, we recoil from it as if from a hot flame. We react sanely and normally, and we will find that this has happened automatically. We will see that our new attitude toward liquor has been given us without any thought or effort on our part. It just comes. That is the miracle of it. We are not fighting it. Neither are we avoiding temptation. We feel as though we had been we feel as though we had been placed in a position of neutrality, safe and protected. We have not even sworn off. Instead, the problem has been removed. It does not exist for us. We are neither cocky nor are we afraid. That is our experience. That is how we react so long as we can keep in fit spiritual condition. So I love you all. I hope someone got something out of that. If I pissed anyone off, put it on your 4-step. Pass.